Chapter 11. The Mirror. You've now learned how to be in service of others. You've assumed responsibility. You carry the burden, and you acknowledge your privilege as a leader. Now it's time to look in the mirror and take care of yourself. In the fast-paced world of business, the competitive world of sports, or the perilous world of the military, there can be so many other more urgent matters to attend to than your own health. At least, that's how it feels. But physically, mentally, or emotionally weakened leadership can be a liability to your team's success. In the big picture of your life, whatever you are working on is sufficiently less important than your physical, mental, and emotional health. And as a leader, you must prioritize your well-being. This means building in checks and balances to ensure that you take care of your own needs. Attention to your own health and wellness better equips you to help others when they need you, and it will build your stores of energy so that you are resilient. Fatigue, illness, and injury will be less likely. Your continued good health fuels you to continually tackle bigger and bigger challenges. Attention to and care for your mental and emotional health will impact your ability to communicate, your motivation, your effectiveness in difficult situations, and the amount of satisfaction and pride you take in your work. Depression, overwhelm, burnout, unchecked frustration and anger, insecurity, and arrogance can all lead to catastrophic consequences in leadership roles. Research from Vital Smarts, a leadership training company, has shown that, quote, managers who clam up or blow up under pressure have teams with low morale that are more likely to miss deadlines, budgets, and quality standards, and that act in ways that drive customers away, end quote. The research indicates that, quote, at least 1 out of every 3 managers can't handle high-stakes, high-pressure situations, end quote, with 56% of people being more likely to shut down and stop participating. But none of this should come as a surprise. Our teams need us to be an example. They need us to guide them through times of uncertainty. As lovable leaders, we must tend to our mental health so that we can continue to create environments of care and trust that honor our commitment to safe travels. It's not an exaggeration to say that your potential as a leader is limited to how well you take care of yourself. Leaders need love too. Your job is to shoulder the burden, to carry the load, and to sacrifice for your team. But you have needs as well. Build the kind of culture where feedback and recognition are given freely, even to you. And if you have a leader, make sure to acknowledge them too. Whether your manager is extraordinary or average, verbal validation can often mean the world to people and motivate them to be better leaders. Make sure you have someone with whom you can talk and who gives you much needed support. While it is nice to get it from your team, you do not expect it from them. Instead, find a mentor or friend who can be your sounding board and keep you grounded and feeling appreciated. Be proudly incomplete. Always be dissatisfied with your current scope of knowledge and cultivate a burning desire to know more, to understand more. Admit and own your faults quickly and readily. Talk about your mistakes in real time and offer solutions to remedy situations, either through immediate action or things to focus on and steadily improve over time. Let's look at how Walter, a sales manager at a mid-market technology company, handled a mistake. While one of his junior associates, Connie, was out on maternity leave, he reassigned her to a new sales team. Walter knew this was a smart business decision and an amazing growth opportunity for Connie. This new position gave her a brand new territory to oversee and new team members to interact with. It also came with a small bump in pay. However, when Connie returned from maternity leave, she was less than enthusiastic. Having just spent several months enduring many sleepless nights and a full-time caretaker job, she had been looking forward to a return to familiarity. Furthermore, Walter had neglected to communicate the change to Connie himself, and instead, on her first day back, Connie found out from her old team that she was assigned to a new role. Connie approached Walter about the situation. Here was his response. Connie, I have a lot to apologize for. First of all, I should have been the one to tell you about the change of teams, and it's unacceptable that I put you in a position to find out the way you did. You are an important part of this team and someone I have always been able to rely on. You deserve better than that from me. I am sincerely sorry. I can't undo that part, but I can do my best to make sure that you are set up for success moving forward. I also want to apologize for not talking to you about whether or not this change was even something you wanted. I didn't think about how it would make you feel coming back to a different role because all that I thought about were the benefits. I know that this is a blind spot for me, and it's something that I'm going to work on. In the meantime, I want to make sure that I fix this. I made a mistake in making this move without talking to you. Can we talk about how we can either make this work for you or get you back into the role you were previously in, if that's what you'd like? I'm also open to talking about other options. You build trust with others by showing them your self-awareness and willingness to admit when you are wrong. People will have deeper respect for you if they perceive that you operate with a keen understanding that you are imperfect. It further accentuates and adds weight to the times when you need to convince others that you are right. By admitting your mistakes and faults, you show people you are aware of them. When you propose solutions, you show people that you are willing to fix the problems. This communicates your commitment to consistent and ongoing improvement. Be confident, yet humble. Remember that it's okay to swagger from time to time. Intimately get to know your strengths and weaknesses. Ask for feedback. Aggressively track down your blind spots. Great leaders are always a work in progress. Your growth will accelerate the more keenly aware of your strengths and weaknesses you can become. When you feel let down. The disappointment of the team letting you down is one of the most difficult things you'll have to endure as a leader. When you put everything into your role and you believe in and trust your people and they let you down, it can bring about many dark thoughts. You could find yourself wondering if you're any good as a leader. You might try to figure out where you went wrong. You may question everything. There are two reactions that can help. One, give yourself some space. And two, take ownership. Whether or not you realize it, you're not perfect. We all make mistakes, and we're all learning as we go. That's how all of this works. So, on the one hand, when things go wrong, give yourself some space to be imperfect. Allow for the possibility that you cannot control or fix everything. Every team is the product of multiple individuals working together, and even under the best circumstances, failure can happen. Realize this and allow for it. Regardless of how big the failure, it's likely not the end of the world. Sometimes an individual will let you down. They might lie to you, go behind your back to betray you, or even sabotage a project. In any of these cases, only once you've given yourself some space are you ready to take ownership and improve wherever you can to see that it doesn't happen again. Keep your principles intact and stick to your own path of respect, trust, and care, knowing that a single person's behavior doesn't represent the entire team. Failure is not the time to beat yourself up. It's the time to give yourself some space, then take ownership and get to work. Here's a tip. Beware the harshest critic. Who's the harshest critic in the world? Is it your boss? Why is he such a jerk? Is it your parents? Ugh, why don't they just get off my back? Or is it you? This isn't good enough. I can do better. If you are motivated and ambitious, your harshest critic is probably you. Holding yourself to the highest standard, being competitive with yourself, and pushing yourself to the limit are good things, but don't forget to take a deep breath and cut yourself some slack. Most things aren't truly important enough to lose sleep over. Since you are likely your own harshest critic, it's important that you confront yourself first and develop strategies for managing your own high expectations of yourself. Therapy. In the same way that all humans should have a doctor they can consult regarding their physical health, everyone should have a therapist to consult regarding their mental health. For too long, there has been a stigma against seeing mental health therapists, as if simply seeing one is evidence that someone is, quote, crazy. This line of thinking is dangerous. There should be no shame at all in tending to your mental and emotional health, and doing so is not a sign of weakness. Leaders are often under tremendous pressure, and therapy can often be one of the most effective methods of managing that pressure. In the absence of professional help, we can conjure up all manner of self-criticisms, self-doubt, anxieties, shame, and insecurities that take up space in our minds rent-free. A therapist can be exactly the right person to help you work through a challenging situation at the office or on your team. They can be the mental check for you to examine the evidence, consider an alternative point of view, or understand past trauma that led you to believe certain things or act in certain ways that undermine your current goals. Leadership is a responsibility, a burden, and a privilege, and sometimes a therapist is the only person who can help you sort through your thoughts to tell these ideas apart. Your team is not there to be relief for your mental and emotional health. Your therapist is. I advise you to find one as soon as possible and find the cadence of speaking with them that makes the most sense, even if it's only every other month. Meditation. Much in the same way that a therapist can help you manage the stress that leadership places on your mental and emotional health, the practice of mindfulness meditation can have profoundly positive impacts. Mindfulness meditation centers the experience of being present and attentive, usually by focusing on the breath. It is a process of slowing down and noticing your thoughts and feelings, allowing you to see them with a greater sense of awareness that is intended to be judgment-free. Meditation is a valuable tool to have as a leader. It will help you in a variety of ways. Regularly practicing mindfulness meditation before difficult conversations with your team can help you detach from your automatic reactions and respond more thoughtfully. In high-stress situations, pausing to practice mindfulness can help you reset your emotions and reduce stress, even after only a few minutes of meditation. And as a leader, you are often under pressure to maintain intense focus for long periods of time. As a form of mental training, meditation can improve your focus. Mentors. There is a pervasive narrative surrounding self-sufficiency. The motto of, quote, pull yourself up by your bootstraps, either consciously or unconsciously conditions us to not ask for help. But is there any doubt that it is a collaborative spirit of humankind throughout time that has made nearly every great accomplishment possible? All substantial acts are generally created by people working together. So you should ask for help. Asking for help signals that you respect the other person as well as acknowledge their value and skill. It shows that you are humble enough to admit the limitations of your knowledge and that you trust the person you are asking for help by way of being vulnerable. When you listen to someone's advice and then go on to use that advice, you validate that other person's worth, as well as give yourself the opportunity to learn and grow from new ideas. Confronting the monster workaholic. Ambition, when left unchecked, can lead to workaholism. The longer you let this go on, the more it becomes a habit and the more difficult it can be to break. For the sake of everyone's sanity and for the culture of work, we need to put workaholism to bed for good. Workaholism, like any addiction, is the outgrowth of something that is, on its own, not a problem. There is nothing wrong with ambition. There's nothing wrong with hard work. There's not even anything wrong with long hours. But these are not examples of workaholism. Let me say it differently. There's nothing wrong with drinking an alcoholic beverage or two. There's not even anything wrong with getting drunk. There is, however, a problem when you cannot control it, and when it begins to negatively impact other areas of your life. Workaholism, like alcoholism or any other addiction, is characterized by its negative attributes and removal of a person's agency through compulsive and uncontrolled behavior. As a leader, how and when you work is a signal to your team. You are always serving as an example. Consider that by engaging in a compulsive addiction to work that leaves you feeling burned out and unable to relax, you may be contributing to someone else on your team experiencing the same things. This is not how you create safe travels, and it's certainly not how you care for your teammates or for yourself. You must constantly be vigilant about your habits so that you foster your energy, passion, and ability to enjoy leisure time. Take time to rest, knowing that it will likely improve your focus and productivity at work. Plan for time off the clock, and set a good example for your team while giving yourself the space to recharge. And if you see one of your team members developing workaholism, encourage them to take some time off, letting them know you are doing so because you want the best from them and for them. Vacation and mental health and sick days. When you are on vacation, be on vacation. Don't check email, don't check in with the team. Reap the full benefits of your break. Always use your vacations to recharge and connect with yourself, those you care about, and the activities you enjoy outside of work. Strictly enforce this policy for your team as well. Also, give yourself and any member of your team the freedom to ask for and take mental health days in the same way you would take sick days. Care about your team in every way. Trust your team members, and when they say they need to take a day off, believe that they do, without questioning them. If any of your employees are sick, let them stay home. In fact, please suggest to them that they take their time to rest and get well. They will recover faster this way than if they were forced to begrudgingly and ineffectively work while ill. Granting them the time off is also a fairly easy way to show them that you care about their well-being and the well-being of your team. If any of your employees or team members have a death in the family, no matter how close or distant to the immediate family, let them take all the time off they need. Matters of life and death and family are bigger than work. Never forget that. No one on their deathbed wishes that they worked just a little bit more. Lovable Leader's Cheat Sheet. To take care of myself as a leader, I will give myself space to be imperfect. Take my mental and emotional health seriously. Continually invest in my own growth. Seek out mentors who will challenge me and keep me grounded. Take time off and vacations to avoid burnout.